gonna give it a minute. I literally, last minute, after channeling some energies, got a message that came through for the collective that had to go up on IG. So we're just a few minutes late over here. I wanted to start at 6 o'clock, but we start when we're meant to start, darling. Let me test out that everything is working before I dive into this. Okay. Plugging in speaker to test out audio. If it lets me, I'll like delete the quiet part. Getting everything set up. If it lets me. Alright, let's see. Testing. Okay, there's like a little delay. Alright. This channel message has to do with the new earth vibration. Just so you guys know, but I'm also picking up on sacred body, electric body. Not gonna go too deep into that part because we'll be here a while. And I feel like the new earth vibration is coming in the quickest. But there's a lot of strong magnetic energy. Those of you who have strong crystal quartz, or you've been moved to get your hands on some clear crystal quartz, big pieces. Like if you can get your hand on big pieces, like towers. I don't know if you guys have seen those pointed tower shaped ones. Do it, especially if they're raw and just naturally formed that way. Atlantean energy, a lot of their power source, if not about at least 95% of it, came from crystals. They generate natural energy. So first thing I'm going to get into is what energies from the cosmos are assisting in delivering this message. And this can, you might connect to this in the sense that it could be your star family. For example, if you resonate with being Pleiadian, if you resonate with different planet systems and whatnot, or different energetic energy bodies, then you may resonate with this energy here. I'm going to see what it is they want to convey to this collective that has to do with the new earth. I will say this. There's a strong energy of not being discouraged. A lot of people are feeling discouraged. They're feeling like everything should, it's not even just everything's failing. Like when they look at the world, like if you know what's going on with soil right now, especially if you're a light worker, you're an energy healer, you feel what the earth feels. And while you can feel that there are some things going for the better, you also see other things trying to intentionally make it worse. And you can't play blind to that. So you're moved to take action, but you may not know how to take action. Before you can do anything personally, you have to heal whatever's blocking you, and that goes into the energy body a bit here. And this goes all the way down to a physical level. How are the meridians in your body responding to the energy? What gates are blocked? Don't just focus on the seven chakras alone. There are different portal gates in your body. There are different systems from the feet on up. For example, your feet are connected to major organs in the body, and each organ has an energetic gate, an energetic field. Figuring out where some of like your chronic pain could be coming from, your fatigue, your headaches, and etc. Yes, there are ascension symptoms, but some things are also energetic blocks. And that's sometimes why ascension symptoms can be so heavy, because it's not just the body having to calibrate to those new energies. It's something here isn't matching. It's like when your thoughts want to go one way, but your actions do another. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to be a healer, you want to start this job, but you allow doubts to creep in the mind, or you never actually move towards doing it. Those are the energies that have to be cleared out. All right, and this is a lot of you here may feel connected to Atlantis. You may not necessarily feel that you're from the capital. So let me break this down so that it makes absolute sense for you who resonate with the Atlantis energy. Atlantis, when we say that, it's like the equivalent of saying Ethiopia, Greece, Rome. It's a place, it's a capital. When you say Atlanteans, it's like saying people from that region, but it's also like saying humans, because Atlanteans themselves as people, as beings, didn't stay in just one location. So that's a misconception. Atlantis, the remains are above water, not underwater. However, many of you who channel the energies, you find yourself heavily connected to water. You find yourself dreaming sometimes of water, especially if you dream of meditating at the bottom of the sea. The deeper you dream of meditating in the ocean, the more likely you're connected to either Atlantis or Lemuria. And you might feel that you've been there, you've lived in the time frame, you've interacted with the people, or you yourself feel like a reincarnation of an Atlantean. But some of you may not necessarily resonate with the perceived archetypes that they put out there. And that's also because not only have people purposely tried to rearrange things to fit a narrative, but also because Atlanteans were more than just one group of people. It's like literally saying human and then giving a particular location. So when we're talking about the lost city of Atlantis, you're talking about the Blue Eye of Africa. Go look it up. You'll see what it is. You've probably already been drawn to it. You've probably already pictured it in your mind and had no idea where the hell it was. There's your location. When you are thinking of icy areas, cold places, you're thinking of some of the ones who moved up towards the Arctic. Note that I said moved up and not moved down or started from, but moved up, okay? It's a certain time frame for all of this. Not everything is happening at the same time. So kind of think of it like how we pretty much have a similar system when it comes to, eras. Like if you're from Japan, then you understand when a person says the Edo era, Meiji era, okay? It's the same thing when you're speaking of ancient cities. They had different eras, they had different timelines, different centuries, and etc. that they did a certain thing. So bear that in mind when those energies are channeling to you. But mainly what this message is right now is they don't want a repeat of their mistakes. They don't want humans of today to repeat the mistakes they made back then. And they also want to see you heal. Not every Atlantean is going to be a good Atlantean. That should be a duh. But they want for you to heal from the traumas of their particular era. So we're talking probably like a good 4 decades before they had the Great Flood issue. They want you to start healing that process. And this is going to involve you tapping into natural resources. They didn't have things in their city that ran off of artificial energy. So that's like the first mistake of man, is being too codependent on an artificial energy. Okay? Right off the bat, we have devotion to service, Pleiadian energy, present energy. So again, those of you who resonate with being a light worker, the number 64 is probably also important to you. Take it down to the single digit, could be life path number, and etc. Just going to say it now, getting out the way. All numbers that you see, if they resonate with you strongly or a certain sequence of numbers resonate, it's a code. So look it up as angel numbers, look it up as light path numbers, life path numbers. Yes, I said light path as well. And look it up also as Hebrew translations, Arabic translations, okay? Certain languages, when you translate the numbers, change the meanings, and that also holds significance here for many of you. But this is a present energy, being devoted to service. So a lot of you have, most of you who end up watching this, you have missions. You weren't just sent here just to kind of, everyone has a purpose, but you weren't sent here to just be idle. There are things you're meant to do, places you're meant to go, energy and people that you're meant to participate in and learn about. And it's going to put you in a state of service. It's important. It's important when you feel moved to help that you pay attention to how you're moved to help. That's very, very important. So devotion, I keep hearing that word. Devotion is a really powerful word here right now. That's where the present energy should be. How can I devote myself to my healing? How can I devote myself to be of service to others by helping them also grow and expand? Always leave yourself in a position to learn as much as you're able to teach. Always have yourself in that position. We have spiritual commitment. What was I just talking about? Vega energy, future energy, the future. So their message is letting you know that at present, learning how to be devoted to yourself, learning how to be committed to your spiritual journey, to your energy, is also helping you for future spiritual commitments, which is not just limited to a particular. Please separate like the ideal of religion versus spirituality. They can be two very different things, okay? Literally by definition. This is more like, how can you realize that you're a multidimensional being? And therefore, you're not limited to one thought process, one way of learning things, one state of being. But it is important to be committed to your journey and how it evolves. How it evolves, how it shifts and changes. Okay? Some of you resonate with the Pleiadian energy. You resonate with the 7 stars. But the future is about getting more in tune with that spirit body, which leads to the electric body. It leads to that being able, for example, being able to heal quicker, not only mentally and spiritually, but physically. The body being able to heal itself faster. Again, I've been picking up on a lot of y'all dreaming about the ancient days of the big trees and whatnot. Pay attention to your environment when you have those dreams. Pay attention to languages you may hear. When you wake up, even if you're like, I have no idea how to freak to spell that, say it in your phone, record it to the best of your abilities. You're getting a lot of codes, and you might be overlooking them or oversimplifying them, but they're really little codes here and there. 7 is a number of importance. I just did another reading where a lot of 7s came out. We have the future, natural humility. It's interesting because when it comes to that energy, people interpret it in so many different ways. What I'm feeling from that energy is being able to emit someone else's greatness and see their reflection through you. I'm trying to get my camera to focus. Being able to admit that somebody else has a strong energy, a strong vibration, and that you don't need to control that or rule them in order to have that power, but that is simply a reflection of the power that exists with you. We are all unique incarnations, but we're also all divinely connected. 69 is an energy of exchange. 6 by itself is exchange. 9 is independence. So it's recognizing your individual independence and how unique you are, but how that uniqueness plays into the service that you can provide to others, and how you can be energetically committed to that energy to move forward in a better way. Some of you resonate with the Orion energy as well. We're going to get one more card from this, and then we're going to move on. I was just talking about dreams, and we have deep dream time and awakening. Your dreams are your awakening. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard that expression when people say, this life is a dream and your dreams is the real world. And when I'm teaching individuals, one of the lessons to help them on their journey and to help them with what they're channeling is your dreams are other worlds. You're a multidimensional being, so your energy participates in other spaces and places, be it realms. So when you wake up, sometimes you're feeling so tired. For those of you that are light workers especially, you feel so tired and fatigued because you're doing so much energy work on those other planes as well. And there is a way to maintain those memories and maintain those lessons and bring them into this incarnation. Understand that the 3D is meant to elevate. The 3D realm was a fall, so to speak. It was a fall. So you're raising your vibrations up into the higher realms, and the goal is to help other souls elevate into that as well, because when they do, you do, and when you do, they do. It's just that spiral, that circle of life energy. I'm literally hearing the circle of life now in my head. And as just mentioned, Orion, and we have leap of faith, present energy. So the present energy for many of you to focus on now with that leap of faith is sometimes you might experience things that feel so far-fetched to you. You'll get information and downloads about stuff that you didn't know just the day before, and all of a sudden you know about it, and you'll second guess it, you'll question it. You'll be moved to do something that you didn't think you were capable of doing, and you need to take that leap of faith and trust yourself to pull it off. You're not channeling that energy for no reason. Now you're going to have to utilize your discernment and tap into your intuition. Nobody can tell you what to do, and even these energies, they can encourage you, but they can't, they have, your mind has to go along with it in order for those energies to even try to manipulate something for you. All they can do right now is provide you with the information. The number 57 is important. There's the sevens again. We got sixes repeating here, nines repeating, and sevens. So those numbers are of importance. Let's get into the tarot a little bit. Meditating in nature right now, for those of you who have the ability, is of the utmost importance. Meditating in nature, getting close to those higher energies are really important, especially if you've been feeling depressed lately, or the environment that you're in currently, it has you feeling so drained. You can't seem to pick yourself up when you're in that space. What are we talking about with the move forward energy? Here's the Six of Swords. And I just did another reading where the Six of Swords came out and something was trying to block a person from moving forward. Once again, we have this move forward. You don't let anything get in your way. Stop second guessing and doubting what you're feeling. Some of you, I keep getting this for the collective I channel. Some of y'all will doubt information that comes into you, and I'm not telling you to not utilize your discernment. But there is a difference between discernment and overly skeptical. They're two different things. You'll get confirmation of what you felt instantly. And it's okay to be shocked and go, oh my gosh, what did that just happen? That's a different kind of acknowledgement, right? But to be like, no, that's a coincidence. There are no such things as coincidences. That's not a thing. Every event that happens, even some of the most traumatic ones, are triggered by previous events or current events and actions. Your job is to start to notice the synchronicities, picking up what the signals are, picking up the vibration. It's something that when you're born, you do it naturally. This is why babies know when to cry when something don't feel right, and etc. But as you get older, there's disruptions in your system. You have to cleanse that system. I know some of you kind of like resonate more with computer-like talk, with like the whole, upgrade your motherboard and etc. Downloads and whatnot. But if we were to just keep this purely 100, your system, everything that's in a computer is really just based off of you, but it's an artificial version. So sometimes if I have to kind of like explain it in a way that somebody who thinks in that manner can understand, I'll use those terms if I'm moved to. But at the end of the day, it's not about getting you used to the artificial term. It's about getting you used to the natural, organic one, so that when you feel these energies, it starts to make more sense to you and you don't feel all over the place. There are things trying to block you from being able to be in those two present energies, which is the bottom of the deck with Orion, leap of faith, trusting the process, trusting yourself, being devoted to service, not only being of service to other people, but being devoted to you, to whom you are, being truly yourself and not feeling like you have to change to fit a mold, right? And it creates a duality within you, and that duality reflects in your physical world, and it slows you down. It makes you get in your head. It makes it a little hard to move forward. But the divine is saying you're meant to move forward. Some of you, the Atlanteans, are your ancestors, and those positive ancestors from that energy are telling you it's important to move forward. There's, a lot of parallels taking place, but you have the gift to see between the line and read between the line. Look at that. Energies are gathering around you to support you. There is a community calling you in. So if you felt like I don't really have a place that understands me, I understand these messages, but there's no one in my immediate vicinity that I can talk to this about or that gets it. You're constantly being led to people, to mentors, guides, gurus, yogis, whatever, that are helping you to advance. Do not discredit that. And as you start to take those leap of faith and you move when you're told to move, Six of Swords is about that movement for y'all. It can channel as different things, but it's about not falling for. I want you to notice how these swords look fake. They look like an illusion, like they're see-through. So being afraid of the thing that can't hurt you hurting you is slowing you down. Being afraid of expressing what you pick up on. And yes, still be open to learn. What channels into you is not the only way that things channel. Don't get caught up in your head like that, because I've been picking that up for the collective as well. As more people get into their gifts, ego starts to kick in and it becomes like a who's got the biggest type of, ish show. And that's not what true growth in this is about. This is about helping others also achieve that level as you help yourself. So you can't think that you can control another, or that your way of seeing things was the only way. Every practice, every spiritual, I'm being very specific when I say spiritual and not necessarily religious, but every spiritual practice leads to a similar amount of keys, because they're all a part of the same story. You cannot completely discredit another. Now, when something is a lie and it is just full of bull and etc., sometimes you might be meant to not necessarily confront in a combative way, but to, in an intellectual way, be able to articulate that. And other times you're going to need to keep it moving, because the time it takes you to get into a back and forth with someone else about what you were feeling or what you were seeing, is it real, is it fake, i.e. that the difference between the dream time and the awakening and etc., you could have been advancing further in your dream, and then you could find these like-minded people. You would stumble upon them. You don't really have to look. They're already around you, but you would stumble upon them. They're not as transparent and hard to see as you may think they are. Sometimes you start seeing them in your dreams. Like you start seeing people and you wonder why they look so familiar once you meet them, because you've been dreaming of having a conversation with those souls the entire time. There's a huge shift happening here. Yeah, some of you guys are feeling your ascension symptoms physically. It's getting a little hectic, getting a little heavy. This is natural, but they want you to understand it's not just ascension pains. The pains in the area that you have them in is telling you where there's an energetic block that needs to be free, so that your energy body can move and flow, so that your life force energy, your spiritual essence can be in balance with each other and not combative with each other. So for some of you who keep having like issues in your toes, if your toes and your eyes, excuse the car, if your toes and your eyes are bothering you a lot, something's affecting your energetic sight. Something's trying to block your vision. Something's trying to make it hard to stand up evenly. And this could be related to childhood traumas. This can be related to current issues in your life. So look around you and see where the distraction is coming from. That's what I keep hearing. Where is the distraction coming from? What's trying to keep you pinned down and stuck? Some of you may want to look at, it's not focused on Atlantean energy per se, but some of you might feel moved to watch the pick a card I just did. I'm not going to tell you which piles have what messages in them. That's your intuition has to guide you to that. But there's a similar vibe in that reading. A similar vibe of needing to know why certain blocks are appearing. A certain vibe of needing to know why certain energies are trying to keep you stuck. Or maybe if it's you keeping yourself stuck, your own mind, your own actions, your own need to compete. That was the issue that led to the fall of Atlantis, that need to compete. That going from understanding tranquil energy to being manipulated into thinking battle makes sense. Being the strongest amongst people and having others bend to your will makes sense. And it literally led to their destruction. They don't want you to repeat that. Innocent souls that got caught up in that don't want you to repeat that. And it's not like they didn't get a warning, love. They got a warning. Some of us remember getting it. We have the Wheel of Fortune. The tide is turning. I just heard the tide is turning. Are you going to choose your destiny, or are you going to stay in a fixed energy? Are you going to follow your North Star, or are you going to stay in the lower realms of your energy because that's what's comfortable? That, you don't have to take a leap of faith when you're in that lower vibration, and you're not worried about changing your view or your perspective. And speaking of perspective, bottom of the deck, we got the hangman, which is an illuminated state. I know a lot of people think of the hangman as just being a suspended state, but the hangman, if you were to do yoga, for example, and many spiritual cultures have the same movements. When the baby's in the womb, the baby is doing all of the yoga positions. So that's why these positions are so powerful. That's why Tai Chi is so powerful in Qigong, because they actually help to unlock your energy. They're not just, for example, Tai Chi is a form made out of martial arts. But even in martial arts, the discipline that goes into it, they had to have their energies unblocked. So you might be moved to do those kind of movements. And some of you might feel like, I'm going to look silly. Oh, well, I've been picking up on Kundalini energy, but stop the games. Do what you're moved to do. There's a purpose. There's a reason. Always check in to make sure that you know where you're getting your messages from, and that it's not from some entity trying to trick you, or something trying to block your path. And when you feel like you need to do something for the right reasons, get it done. But this is a very powerful asana because your feet are in the air. You're pulling the sun energy, and if you do it at night, the moon energy, through your body into your crown, activating your third eye as well, because your third eye is existing between the crown and your throat chakra, which is your communication. So I want you guys to also pay attention to how you communicate things to yourself as well. Wow. Top of the deck, the star card. And like I said, some of you resonate with being star beings. You're watching a star seed message. And like I always say, star seeds aren't meant to stay star seeds forever. We're meant to expand and grow. We have, after that, the King of Wands, gearing up to take action, looking to see which direction to go in. He looks like he wants to get up, but he's first paying attention to the signs and the symbols he's getting before he takes action, which is sometimes rare for the King of Wands energy. It could be a little rare to do that. Let's move on. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to try and go live for you guys more often. I had to do a last minute reading on IG, so I may not be doing a love reading today. My channel isn't just focused on one theme or one, so pay attention to what the captions are about when you guys come into space. How can you know if it's coming from something that's not for my higher good? Hi, I'm just seeing your messages. You guys have to excuse sometimes when I'm channeling, I don't see the chat. I'm seeing whatever the images are in front of me, and then I utilize the cards to make it easier for you guys to also get the visual that I'm picking up on. First and foremost, when it comes to if an energy is going against your highest good, for starters, it's going to make you do things that go against your moral. It's going to make you interact with stuff that makes you feel energetically drained. People who make you feel energetically drained. You don't find yourself questioning just your capability, because sometimes that's your own mind. Your own mind may say, I don't think I can speak to the people. I don't think I have that effect on another person. Well, I don't know if I'm good enough. Those thoughts, when they're not being provoked by the energy that's channeling to you, it's something from childhood, something in your own head that creates that block. But when it's another person or situation literally making you feel that way, I'm going to give you an example using, for example, family, because for a lot of people, family can be that energy. And again, this Atlantean message is coming from some of you guys. Is, if not a reincarnation, it's ancestry. You can have a family member that praises you 1 second and then critiques you it's really criticizing, because critique and criticism are two different things. They call themselves critiquing you in front of another, and the way they go about it is condescending. So to be, oh, so and so is amazing at art, and they can look at people and draw them. Oh, they never really took the time to go to art class to really advance themselves, and blah blah blah. It's like within the compliment is this discouraging thing. And then if you ever say something about it, if you're ever like, hey, thanks for the praise and everything, but why is it every time you give me a praise, you put me down next? They blame it on simply critiquing. The difference between criticism and criticism is just criticizing you. It's just saying what you can't do or what you did wrong. Critiquing points out possible error or something that could be a little off and says, here's the solution or the option of a solution. And you are fully capable of doing however you come across it, you're fully capable of doing it. Critiquing shouldn't leave you feeling empty. When it comes to spiritual things, same rule applies. If a spiritual entity makes you feel false power, gets you hyped up on doing something crazy, gets you hyped up on putting you in a negative space, or participate with these people that drain you, blah blah blah, 2 seconds later you're out of it. Gets you hyped up on taking a certain drug or following a certain addiction, and then right after comes that drop, that big drop. It's not for your highest good. The inner voice doesn't have to think twice about what works for its highest good. Most things that we find ourselves pausing about that isn't coming from our fear of being great is coming from a person or an entity trying to make us be in a lower vibration, keep you from moving forward, make you constantly feel heavy, like you're stuck. You can't go, your body's just aching all the time. This is why I'm cautious about telling people that every pain they feel is just an ascension symptom. Ascension symptom can leave you fatigued, can leave you tired, and yes, it can create aches in the body. But if I find that a person comes to me and says, my lower back, right in the center of my spine, near the lower part of my back, constantly feels like a rod or it feels stuck. Now I could look in energetically and see exactly what that is. But the first thing I'm going to ask them is, what's been making you feel uneven or ungrounded in your life as of late? What have you been pushing your body, and whatever it is making it feel like there's a lot of pressure on your back or a lot of weight? In this image here, the wands are in front of this person, so this would be pressure on their chest. But it would also hurt the lower back here. So something heavy on the heart. Feeling responsible, feeling obligated to maintain whatever that heaviness is. And the moment we tap into that energy and we talk about it, we start clearing away. And they'll notice the back in the conversation alone can start to get better. Add in energetic healing. For some, it's going to be Reiki. For some, it's going to be others, and that person starts to feel better. Even with Reiki healing, you have to maintain it by being mindful of your energetic vibration on a regular basis. What are you saying to yourself? Do you speak positivity? Are you a I'm going to get it done person, it's done? Or are you, well, maybe, could, I don't know. All these things affect you. Words or spells. Contrary to popular belief, that's why we call it spelling. Everything you speak has a potential to become reality, and most things you say will become a form of reality. So what form of that are you speaking into your life? Guardians and guides try to put you in front of people and situations that elevate you, not decrease you. I'm never going to tell you that in order for you to be powerful, you have to crush another. Your crown is your own. It was made especially for you. No one else can wear it. My job is to guide you to the places and spaces you may need to be, but I cannot walk the journey for you. So I'm going to always strive and tell you to strive to be your greatest, but by no means does that mean shitting on another person. But you do have people around who get caught up in ego, and that's what they teach. If you can't come to me, you can't go to anyone, and if it's not done this way, then it can't be done at all. There is a right and wrong way, but you're always going to be able to feel it if you tell yourself and genuinely allow yourself to be open to get the differences in the message. We're going to hop into the Priestess of Light Oracle. This will resonate for masculines as well. So for masculines that come across this and watch it, it'll resonate for you as well. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit. I can't focus too much on it. And for you, it's going to be, for each person, a question like that has to be catered to that person. So what I'm saying right now, a little bit to your energy, but for the most part, it's a little more general because it's a general message. For something for a question like that, it's better to tap into the person's individual energy and answer what it is that they're specifically asking about. And you have something that you're specifically talking about that can't be answered in this kind of setting, if that makes sense. Let's get into this. See, ooh. Sacred breath and sound. Life force. I just was talking to you guys about life force energy and essence. Communication. I just was talking about that third eye activating. This is what I mean when I say we pre-channel the message. We use the cards to help maybe those of you who don't see what we're seeing realize it. We have dolphins here twice, and dolphins are automatically communication. We actually, it's a whale, but same thing. Dolphins and whales communicate telepathically through sound. They both communicate through sound, underwater and above water. Sometimes I like to actually teach people how to hear what these animals are saying when they send off their vibrations. And if some of you might feel moved to, if you can find genuine videos of real whale and dolphin sounds. Dolphin is a spirit animal for someone here. It's a totem for them. Listen to those videos. Try to find authentic ones, because some people just generate a sound and then loop it over and over. You want it to be real. Even if it's looped, you want it to be real. But there's communication here. So once again, it's not just these higher energies, it's also the higher self communicating. Divine love, divine protection, sovereignty. It's giving me sovereign energy. Sacred breath. Breath work is really important. So some of you, if you've been moved to do some type of yoga, meditation has different forms. It's really important that you pay attention to which one is calling you in the moment, because that might be what you need to focus on first. So stillness is something that you need to focus on right now. The first way I recommend that if you have a running mind is, don't be mad at yourself that your mind is running around. That's just going to distract you. You might want to start by listening to different music that puts you in a harmonized state, or instrumentals that you can recite in your head. So for example, I don't know why I'm hearing Beethoven, but we're going to go with it. Let's say Beethoven is something a person can listen to kind of zone out. Harmonize with that harmony in your head. Don't worry about how you sound when you actually sing or whatever. Just sing that instrument in your head. Somebody who's going to come across this likes classical music. I keep hearing classical music sounds, and it's all good. It's all good or whatever. But if you keep reciting the note in your mind, you don't have time to get distracted by other things. Set the intention that you're doing this to calm yourself and to be in a calm state. Music is a great way to rewrite your system. It's a great way to reactivate yourself. And for somebody, stillness is the key. For others, it's going to be movement. So dance, yoga, flexibility. I sometimes tell people to actually start off with Qigong before going into some of the more intense versions of it and the more intense versions of yoga. So do maybe like 8 minutes. We have a lot of 7s and 6s here actually. So I would say like 7 minutes of Qigong or 9 minutes of it. Work your way up the scale until you're able to feel more centered. But a lot of life force energy is channeling right now. Some of you are going pretty much through a very intense awakening. I'm starting to overheat. These energies are getting stronger. We have calming the waters. And look at that. I was just talking about this energy on the other reading as well. Don't let people get you caught up in conflicts, doubts, conflicts of the mind, unrest of the body, sitting up here stressing. There's an energy, for whatever reason, for the vast majority of the collective, there's this energy of people wanting you to engage in arguments or fights or back and forths. Distractions. It's all to keep you from focusing on elevating yourself. Don't get caught up in those hostilities. She looks like she's surrendering. Like her hands are up, like I'm not fighting. I'm not engaging. I'm divinely protected at all times. I don't need to battle with you to prove nothing. I don't need to argue points or views or practices. I can learn I can take in what I need to know, and I can advance. I can take what I resonate with now, advance upon it, see what I resonate with later on. But I'm not here to fight over petty things. Engage in emotions that I shouldn't be engaging in when I should be elevating. And for many of you, this is the divine feminine energy crying to express itself more and more. It's crying to be illuminated. It's crying to come out. Even if you're a masculine energy, the divine feminine energy within you is calling to have more respect and have more of a placement, a reflection in your energy than it currently does. And that's further confirmed with the calming waters. Okay? Calming yourself down, not allowing someone else to take you where you don't want to go energetically. The garden, paradise, that wheel of fortune energy, the destiny. When you follow your destiny, you unlock the paradise within, and it will lead you to the soul family and soul tribe. Soul family, just to clarify, soul family are people who could have actually been family to you in another life, and they watch out for you like real family should. They have your back, you have their back. They support you, you support them. Soul tribe is more community based. So it's not to say that they don't support you, but you don't have to see them on a regular basis. So an example of this is you follow this path, you utilize your platform, you rise into a higher energy, right? The people who come across your work, you're not seeing them all the time. You're touching their heart, you're helping them to feel moved and whatnot, but you don't know them too personally. However, they're still your community, and they're still supporting you, and they're still there for you. But your soul family are those individuals who get closer to you. They have a tighter bond with you. You're going to meet them. You hang out with them. You can talk to them about sensitive things, personal things, just for yourself, right? So that's the difference between the two. And again, soul family can also feel so much like family because once in one of lifetimes they were. They could have been a sister, brother, lover, whatever. And so that's why they stand out towards you. When it comes to the soulmate energy and what in my culture would be more so referenced as divine flame, but is known to more broadly known as twin flame, are two different types of energies. Twin flame connections and couples are mission driven. Soulmates are path driven, which is why soulmates can tend to change when the path change. And both are of sacred energy. So nothing that's in a low vibration is a divine counterpart. For example, a karmic energy that feeds off of your life force, feeds off of your misery, therefore wants you to be miserable, wants you to be stuck. Don't improve, don't get better, whether it's family, lover, so-called frenemy, whatever. They're not divine connections. There's something trying to keep you still, or there's a lesson that you need to learn and evolve from. And unfortunately, sometimes people confuse the two or confuse the three even, and that's how they get mixed up and end up in these twisted cycles. The Wheel of Fortune is saying a lot of those twisted cycles, this is the moment of the shift. And what you want to do is you want to start cycling to the top. Some of you are already at the top, but you're not willing to leap into higher energies. You're not willing to take that chance to go further because of fear. How will family feel? How will this person think? Well, what if I took this chance and I went to this location and I didn't get along and it didn't go well? You're so busy focusing on the negative that you're, first of all, giving it energy that it doesn't need. That's number one. And you're denying yourself of your own core existence. You're denying yourself expressing that. And that's what they want you to change. New earth, people in that space have to be of a higher vibration, not only to heal the current earth that we have, but also so that you can actually breathe and exist in that new space. And remember, we had a card that came out that said sacred breath and sound. The first language was sound. It was vibration. It was tones, octaves. That's why music moves you so much. That's why singing bowls and binary beats and etc. have such an effect on the body. And it can take some people a while to also adjust to those sounds. I just talked to someone about that today. It can take a minute for some people to listen to like a singing bowl without getting a headache or feeling irritated, because they're literally purging something from their body, purging something from their psychic mind, their mind's eye, their spirit essence. We're going to get one more card from this deck. We have divine mother. There's that divine feminine energy again. Nourishing compassion and grace. That goes back to that service. How can you be of service to your own healing? Be devoted to your own healing, be of service to it, and be in a position where you can then help another. Some of you heal as you help another, but you must not neglect yourself as you do that. That's what happens with a mother energy a lot of times is it's so busy taking care of other people or so busy feeling responsible for other people, self gets neglected. Self is not meant to be neglected here. Step into your grace. You might have to make some adjustments that you weren't willing to make before, but it's worth it. And again, for those of you who keep feeling like you're hearing the earth cry, you're feeling it, you want to do something. You have people like Saha Guru who's doing Save Soil. Meditation isn't the only way. And that might be what's frustrating some of you is every time you look into it, you keep hearing the same message from people like, oh, just meditate. We're always just going to meditate. You got to take action too. Meditate helps to align the body to be prepared for the action it must take in order to achieve the goal. So start looking around in your own community for what you can do. If you feel that you need to be in nature more, start making plans, put things together to go do that. To get out into nature, to communicate with the trees. Hug a tree. So much powerful energy comes from hugging a tree. People used to make fun of individuals doing that, but our ancestors did it on a regular basis. And that's why they were of such a high vibration. They were in levels you're trying to learn to be in. So be mindful too of what you find funny or what you think you can crack a joke on, because you might end up screwing yourself over. Somebody might be doing something you should be and you're making fun of it. Whether it's hugging a tree, talking to the clouds. Here go rest again, and we got dolphins. I told you guys, somebody here, your spirit animal, your animal totem or fish totem is a dolphin. Dolphin was coming in stronger than the whale energy that was on the other card. Someone's weary soul is about to have rest, but you got to take action towards it. It's not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter without you taking initiation, to moving into the energy of your own free will. Your willpower is what gives anything power. Even negative things, your willpower. We already had a card that brought up paradise as well. So some of you are moving literally, like you're moving to a different location, something more tranquil. If you've been wanting to do this, don't create a block. Don't say things like, I hope one day. Eventually I will. I have. I can. It is done. It's already mine. It already exists. And allow yourself to feel it. What would it feel like to be in a place like that? What would it feel like to connect to your cosmic, earthly, divine ancestry? What would it feel like to let this part of the DNA activate? We have personal power. A huge portion of this message has been centered on that. You're seeing the confirmations of what I'm channeling to you right now. And we have freedom, which is what a lot of you are seeking right now. But that freedom can only come through divine balances. So divine masculines, get in tune with your inner feminine energy. Please understand, feminine energy is not a stereotype. It's not a stereotype. It doesn't mean that if you don't feel feminine, then all of a sudden you have to act feminine. Divine feminine and masculine energies are not action, like acting. You're not playing a role. That's not what this is. It's tapping into that compassionate, nourishing side of yourself. Divine feminine is tapping into that powerful movement and motion and action within yourself. Divine masculine energy is action-oriented. Divine feminine energy is intuitive. When you combine the two together, you have a powerful, powerful vibration. And balancing those energies within yourself helps you to understand another. But the feminine energy is feeling the need to be felt. It's feeling the need to be heard right now. We're going to end it by getting into some messages from the Atlantean. The Atlantean vibration from this deck is one of my favorite decks because both the art and the word on the back speaks. They really love speaking through it, so we're going to channel into it. I keep feeling like the earth is calling you. A lot of you in this collective, the earth is calling you. If you can get to a park, get to a park. But if you can really get to like a beach or just out in nature, you don't have to go camping per se. But when you feel moved to get some fresh air, to really breathe, get in those spaces to breathe. When you're doing your breath work, many of you here, all of you here, I would recommend do breath work. It's my recommendation. It's up to you if you listen. Um, when you're doing breath work, envision yourself in a tranquil space. Get plants in your house if you can. Okay? And plants will let you know when your energy is off. It'll let you know when the energy in your space or environment is off so that you learn how to adjust. Because no matter how much a person may try to take care of a plant, if the energy ain't right, that sucker gonna struggle. So some of you might need a plant to actually help you see what exactly is happening in your energy and how it's happening. So that you can start to consciously change your thoughts, change your habits, change your vibration. What messages do you have for them? Thank you. Thank you for your time. Woo! And somebody in the chat was asking how you know the difference. And as I was explaining it, literally was saying, listening to your vibration. We have trust your voice. Like the synchronicities of it all. When you are listening to something that is encouraging you, it's enlightening your path, it's pushing you forward, there will be no mistake. And to be clear, many humans exist in duality. Many people also just tend to steal great teachings. And the sad thing is when that happens, individuals will judge the whole practice or the whole teaching all the time, right? Sometimes you might have heard something really clever from a really messed up individual. And then you do a little bit of research. It wasn't even their thought. It wasn't even their original. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, honestly, many from the cultures in my family, and I'm indigenous, they don't like when they hear manifest destiny. Doesn't have a good history with us, you know? However, it's a stolen concept. It just is. And it was utilized for a negative reason. There are symbols that are very sacred. They're sacred symbols that have been stolen and used for really heinous-ish. And people keep wondering, wow, before I knew that history, I was drawn to that symbol. Maybe not the way that person used it, but I was drawn to it and now I felt bad because of blah, blah, blah. Follow that voice when it tells you, look into this more. Look into this. Do you know how many people I've known, they have sacred Hindu tattoos of Ganesh with the symbol on his head, and people look at it and go, that's a swastika. No. Hitler stole that. Stole it, tilted it on his axis to use it for a negative vibration, and yes, he was fully aware of what he was doing and why. He did the research to know what to do. He should not be given credit for taking something sacred and abusing it to the point that other people who are wearing it in the right axis for the right reasons are now ridiculed because you don't know the history and you don't know their culture. Humans, the biggest downfall and one of the biggest downfalls to Atlantis was disconnection. And every day, humans keep reenacting disconnection. You look for ways or you're taught ways to divide yourselves when you should actually be unifying. That's a part of your divine purpose and mission. Your first purpose is finding what sparks you. And there's going to be many things that spark you. And if you pay attention, they'll all seamlessly flow into each other. Then, how can that purpose be of service? And that service unifies the collective. At no time are you alone. And that's why dark entities or people with wicked ways always want to single someone out and make them feel alone or make them feel crushed. Make them feel like their own won't even support them. Because then that way they can control you, they can manipulate you. This great, I'm going to say nation for now because the Atlantis I'm picking up on is the capital. They fell because of that very mentality. People wanting to divide. We are now better. This one's going to do that. We should take over them. Let's fight with this people over here. And it created a problem. When they started focusing more on division, it led to their destruction in a very catastrophic way. Okay? So you're being told to listen to that voice within. Freedom is here. Oh, no, it's this one. Freedom is here. And it's also mentioned again on this card. You hold the key to your freedom. Let go of inhibitions. Like let go of limitations. Let go of things that inhibit you from going forward. You're doing great. Open your heart up. Be more playful. Be in a more happy energy. Stop letting people make you feel depressed all the time. Stop walking around with woe is me energy. And the art in the back speaks to that. This is what I mean about the art. She has an owl. Owls represent wisdom, knowledge, empowerment through knowledge, taking flight, but seeing beyond what is normally seen because they have vision in the night. So they can see the things in the night that others can't see, which means accept the shadow. Go within and heal the shadow. Purge what doesn't belong so that you can move forward. The bird is flying free, and all birds represent messages. So a lot of this message from them is about freedom. You guys may have to watch this more than once because, again, when I'm channeling, I try not to, I try to speak as clear as possible, but sometimes I'm hearing what they're saying before I say it. So if you feel like you need to watch something more than once, that's fine. We have hope. I believe I mentioned this earlier in the beginning of the reading. Allow grieving. In this instance, allow yourself to let go of that which you may not have wanted to let go of, but it wasn't serving you. It wasn't good for you. It wasn't helping you evolve. It wasn't helping you grow. Right? Accept your own responsibilities. Accept the role that you've played in your own setbacks. Or sometimes you may not have done something intentionally, but even allowing another to treat you wrong or allowing another to make you feel stuck is a disadvantage and a disheartening thing to do to yourself. But when you can allow yourself to admit that that was once something you did, you can heal it and move forward. Traumas and triggers are not meant for you to hold on to. There is no purpose to do that. They're meant for you to pass through. Get through it, go beyond it, completely let it dissolve. It's not meant to still be a thing, which means I shouldn't be able to pop up on you 10 years later and trigger you with something that happened 10 years ago. And that's no matter how traumatic it was. You holding on to it keeps it alive. You still being triggered by it keeps it alive. Every lesson comes with a blessing. And if you focused on that more than the pain, the agony, the suffering, if you focused more on where it's taking you and how it healed you, you can grow past it. Okay? But you have to accept the right kind of responsibility in the situation. Welcome in new beginnings. It's never too late. I don't care how old you are, how young you are, how old, whatever. It's never too late to learn. It's never too late to expand. You're a multidimensional being, and in fact, the only reason you even age the way you do is because you've been taught to believe that that's the way people are supposed to age. And then, of course, they added certain things to your food and your water to make it even more evident. But you have the ability to purge all of that. Okay? So it's never too late to heal. It's not. You can always live and move forward and prevail. And the image on the back of that one, because I really look at that, and we were talking about earth image a lot, right? This need to heal the earth. It looks like it's burdened, but she's getting something to plant. And I kept channeling that Save Soil movement. And time is not linear. So the moment you start, you help speed up the process. Whether it be your healing the earth, paradise is returning to this world. Do you want to be on the timeline where that happens, or do you want to be on the timeline where it keeps being burned, it keeps being distracted? We have, ooh, bam. I love when this happens, and I love when it happens where y'all can see the message. Let me look for that card, because it's really important. There it is. Present energy. Devotion. 64. Devotion. Do you see it? There is no stuttering here with these energies, okay? And this is about the present. Take joy in the process. Use creativity. Didn't I mention meditation to y'all? Use creativity as meditation. Did I not mention dancing? Listening to music, even if it's instrumental? Place intention in every action. Do what feeds your soul. Practice patience. This is not everything I've been saying. Here's the image. You control the narrative of your story, of your journey. Your ancestors, your guides, your soul team, your spiritual family, all that jazz, cosmic energy, all of them can simply give you the tools. But you have the ability to decide how you're going to use those tools to accept that transformation. sanctuary. Go inward. Allow yourself to slow down. Patience. Practice being instead of doing. Take time to rest, refill. You are safe. Did we not mention rest before? Didn't I say some of you need to be still? Even in your actions, there needs to be a sense of calm and stillness. Stillness can be, I'm working on something, but my space is silent. My mind isn't thinking too hard on what needs to do. I'm not overthinking. I'm simply getting it done. I'm pausing when I need to. I'm making sure that when I feel fatigued and I feel heavy, that I'm checking that energy and seeing why I feel that way. Why is that pain in my back? Why is that pain in my heart? Is it just an Ascension symptom, or is there an energetic gate that's blocked that I need to take rest from? Rest done come out at least 3 times, and y'all know I like my synchronicities in threes. I like my confirmation in threes. I don't need them in threes, but I like them that way. And notice how she's sitting in a space that looks like it's blooming. That burden space, some of y'all feel, trigger warning, some of you feel burden, literally. But look at that. It took one seed, and now something's growing and expanding. For those of you who came in the reading late, you might have to go back to the beginning to get to these cards to see how this is all synchronizing. Bottom of the deck, we literally have passion. Find your bliss, release shame, heal emotional blocks. Again, check that pick a card, maybe even check the reading on IG. Explore sacred sensuality. I will have more on that in the future. Okay? Live passionately. We have transformation. I want you guys to also look at the art, because again, the art speaks. Remember that hangman energy that came out earlier? And I said not the hangman isn't always about suspension. Sometimes the hangman energy is just about having that different viewpoint, that different perspective. Channeling the energies from the sun and the moon through the feet down into the crown and illuminating self. When your life force energy is your blood as well. And when the blood rushes to the head, that lightheaded feeling that can come in, that is an illuminated state. Practice it with caution, right? Okay? Be mindful. But it's an illuminated state, which is why yoga helps the body. It helps you to get all the other parts of the body in alignment so that when you do those positions, it's more to your benefit versus a disadvantage. Same thing with Qigong, same thing with Tai Chi. These are some of the, again, each culture has their version of these type of practices. These are the ones that I recommend a lot of times for beginners, especially because they're all, whether they know it or not, they're all connected. Okay, transformation, let go. Look at that. That's the main thing that they just had me like zoom in on, like an eagle. For someone, eagles are a symbol for you. For some of you, they might fly overhead a lot, or you'll find yourself finding eagle feathers. Make peace. I'm not seeing so much as make peace with death, but I do feel like some of you need to make peace with it in the sense that you feel like you've lost a lot. Whether it's actually losing people or just losing things in your life that you were clinging to. The key is to learn detachment, heal the disconnection that can come from wanting to close yourself off when you go through any type of loss. Heal that. Remember that disconnection creates the fall of many great sacred nations have fallen due to disconnection. But detachment is a complete different thing altogether. I cover this topic a lot on my channel, and I will cover it more on lives. I'm not being moved to go too in depth with that right now, but you need to get used to release and letting yourself be free and letting things go. So it goes back into that letting things go and allowing yourself to transform. Recognize the light in all things. Look for the hidden blessings. And again, I'm going to have more content on the hidden self as well, which is very important. But someone needs to transcend. Someone's transcending a toxic energy, or like always feeling like they're in a dark place. Dark things are on me. Dark entities. Everything's dark. Pain. Someone's transcending from that energy. And in order to do this successfully, you have to let go of the thoughts of that as well. We have growth. Heal old wounds. Look at that. And for, sometimes I let you guys see what the other messages on the cards are, but I read the messages that are channeling for what I'm delivering. Okay. But remember what I said about the big trees, the days of the ancient big trees? Yes, we were around during that time period. I don't know why that's still so hard for people to understand, but if you've been channeling that, you've dreamed of being the giants, you've dreamed of playing with giants. Not all giants are the same. But if you seek the big tall trees and the vast oceans, then this is the time frame you're thinking of. Notice how this tree looks cut down and she seems to be elevating out of it, right? Like she just grew from its bark. So something might have been destroyed there before, but now something new is growing. Growth. Freely live. And the last card I'm going to pull is purity. And I feel like the temple is representing your body, the physical body, the sacred temple. We have create sacred space. Your body is your temple. Need I say more? I feel like that's a mic drop. I'm going to let that image resonate with you guys because we have the moon in the background again, and we've been having a lot of powerful moons. Okay? My loves, a huge portion of this message in preparing for New Earth is allowing yourself to accept freedom, allowing yourself to accept the divine being that you are, internally and externally. Express the real you on the outside and don't fall for energies that try to keep you stuck, stagnant, in manipulative vibrations and fighting. It's not saying that there aren't going to be moments when you might need to defend yourself a certain way or where you might need to even, check a person on occasion. We keep it honest around here. But you need to ask yourself if the energies you entertain right now are worthy. Are they worthy of that? Not every so-called enemy is even worthy of being given that title. And most importantly, for those of you who've been feeling depressed, drained, stuck, it's time to elevate and grow out of that energy. And that responsibility is solely with you. You can come across people like myself, you can come across friends, soul family, and etc. that can give you a bit of guidance, give you some encouragement, give you help. But the decision to travel, the decision to make the journey, to do the task is up to you. And how you're moved to do it is also individually up to you. But you're being encouraged to tap into these energies, to tap into this lineage. They don't want you to repeat the mistake of disconnection. It started with them disconnecting from their inner self. Then it moved to them disconnecting from their own people. And really by people, that meant everybody. Not just immediate vicinity, but everyone. And we have seen humanity perpetuate this over and over again. It's time for it to change. And you could be the light worker that's meant to help walk that path to change it. This message is indicating that you are one of the many of us that are meant to help shift this energy. But I'm going to call it for now. I am overheating. And when I overheat, energies make make it hard to focus. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.